And I would just like to clarify that I don't think anyone's being required to do anything or being forced to do anything. This is a discussion about a seller and a buyer. And in this particular case, you're talking about sellers that are producing one-of-a-kind, in many cases, creative material that they own and have copyrighted. And in my view, if I create a book or I paint a painting or I create a hit song, it's mine. And if I want to sell it, those terms should be determined by me. And when you're talking about a transaction between a person selling something and another person, that's one thing. But we're actually talking about an entity selling something to the government. And in that particular case, the government has all the cards and all the power to begin with. And yet, the legislation that is before us is designed to use the power of government to force a private entity to subject themselves to terms that the government says is appropriate. This bill is about price fixing. It is not about closing loopholes. It is not about the publishers, quote unquote, taking advantage of libraries. It is not about exorbitant prices. It is about an actual marketplace where the publishers are acting on behalf of the folks that created these materials to maximize their profits. That is exactly how our country works. That's what's supposed to happen in America. And no one's being required to buy their product. And everyone knows that if you price your product for too much of a cost, people won't purchase it. Everyone knows that. Children know that, frankly. If I want to sell a dress that's worth $50 for $500, no one's going to buy it. If I try and sell my $5,000 beat-up old car for $20,000, no one's going to buy it. And the publishers know that. But they do realize that there is a value for the product that they sell, and of course they're doing their job to maximize the value that they can get. And then what's happening here is the state of Connecticut, the people in this legislature, are trying to prevent them from succeeding in selling their product that they own, that they created for the price that they choose, on the terms that they choose, by using government force. Frankly, this is the reason why I'm standing here today. Not this exact issue, but the fact that I decided to get involved in politics because I could not abide by the way my government was acting. Almost every day, injecting itself into the lives of the citizens. Our system is not supposed to work like that. Our system is supposed to listen to the citizens, whether they be book purchasers or book sellers. And our job is to make good policy here. It is not to pick winners and losers. It is not to choose who should benefit in any of these specific cases. And that's precisely what this bill does. This bill attempts to punish the people that create artwork, that write books. And what's the actual impact of a policy like this? Frankly, I think what it's going to do is it's going to limit the amount of new creativity that's brought into the world. If you make it less profitable, and forget profitable, less able to even survive. The people that I know a few authors, none of them have ever made enough money to be able to afford to pay themselves enough to live on. They have to work a real job. Not that being an author is not a real job. I'm sure they consider it one. They would like to get paid for it. I just find it unimaginable that we would be discussing legislation and using terms that we're hearing today. Oh, exorbitant prices. We are not in a position to decide what prices are exorbitant. That is for the market to decide. We don't come in here and go, oh, we have to change the price of this or that, a gallon of milk or eggs, which are in the news almost every day, or housing. And frankly, I'm concerned that the majority is very interested in changing the price of housing as well. That is not the role of government. The role of government is to set up parameters for fairness so that private contracts can exist, so that the parties can come to terms between themselves, and they can do it fairly without unnecessary, unneeded, unwarranted, and unwanted pressure from the government by the use of force.